The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of DigiAll. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to DigiAll Tech News. Today is Friday, December 26th, 2025. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. Are we outsourcing our critical thinking to AI and losing what made the Enlightenment so transformative? Pro-Russian hackers crippled France's postal service right before Christmas, disrupting millions of deliveries. New York just became the second state to regulate frontier AI models with sweeping new safety requirements. RAM prices have surged nearly 300% in 3 months, and your next laptop might come with half the memory you expected. After talking to over 50 tech leaders this year, one journalist shares the 4 biggest lessons about AI's impact on our careers. Let's start with something philosophical that really caught my attention. Joseph Dweck wrote a fascinating piece for The Guardian asking whether AI is actually taking us backward in terms of human development. He invokes Immanuel Kant's definition of the Enlightenment as humanity's emergence from self-imposed immaturity through the use of reason. The question he raises is, are we voluntarily giving up that hard-won intellectual independence? The statistics are striking. 82% of people have used AI in the last 6 months, and 73% of ChatGPT prompts involve writing tasks. But here's what concerns researchers. An MIT study found that when writers use AI tools, their cognitive activity actually decreases. We're not just getting help, we're outsourcing our thinking. Dweck argues that AI is becoming our new authority figure, a digital king or priest that we trust without question. And while AI is incredibly useful for processing massive amounts of data and handling routine tasks, we risk trading convenience for critical thinking. The real challenge isn't whether to use AI, it's how to leverage its power without eroding the very reasoning abilities that define us as free, thinking individuals. Now to cybersecurity. France's postal service, La Poste, got hit hard by a distributed denial of service attack on Monday, December 22nd, just days before Christmas. The timing couldn't have been worse. This is a massive operation we're talking about. La Poste handles 2.6 billion parcels annually and employs over 200,000 people. The attack knocked their central computer systems offline, which meant postal workers couldn't track deliveries, and the banking division couldn't process online payments. A pro-Russian hacking group called No Name 057 claimed responsibility. French prosecutors confirmed that the domestic intelligence agency took over the investigation after the group's statement. This isn't their first rodeo either. No Name 057 has been linked to attacks during a NATO summit in the Netherlands and against French government websites. What's particularly concerning is the pattern here. Just a week earlier, another cyber attack on the French government disrupted the Interior Ministry and led to the theft of sensitive police data. And in November, Danish political party websites were hit ahead of elections. We're seeing coordinated campaigns targeting European infrastructure at critical moments. It's a reminder that cybersecurity isn't just about protecting data anymore. It's about maintaining basic societal functions during the busiest times of the year. On the regulatory front, Governor Kathy Hochul signed New York's RAISE Act into law today, making it the second state after California to establish comprehensive AI safety regulations. This legislation specifically targets what they call frontier models, those advanced AI systems that could pose serious risks like enabling cyberattacks, bioweapon development, or critical infrastructure damage. The law applies to developers with over $500 million in annual revenue who operate these frontier models in New York. There are 4 main requirements. First, companies must establish written safety protocols, assess risks of what they call critical harm, and deploy appropriate safeguards. Second, they have to report critical safety incidents to the state within 72 hours. Third, they need to register with a new AI oversight office in the Department of Financial Services, which will issue regulations and publish annual risk reports. And fourth, violations carry serious penalties. up to $1 million for first-time violations and $3 million for repeat offences. Interestingly, there's no private right of action. Only the Attorney General can enforce this. The law takes effect January 1st, 2027, giving businesses about a year to prepare. What's fascinating is that this comes amid significant federal pushback. President Trump's executive order and potential congressional limits are creating a complex regulatory patchwork. For businesses using AI, this means you need to start vetting your AI vendors now, add safety clauses to contracts, develop internal governance frameworks, and track regulations across multiple states. Here's a story that's going to hit consumers directly. We're facing a severe shortage of DRAM chips, and it's already affecting the devices you're planning to buy. According to TrendForce, contract prices for 16GB DDR5 chips have skyrocketed from $6.84 in September to $27.20 in December. That's nearly 300% in just 3 months. The impact is immediate and tangible. Dell and Lenovo are planning to reduce RAM in mid-range laptops from 16GB down to 8GB starting in 2026. Smaller builders like Paradox Customs are even shipping some desktop systems without memory at all, leaving customers to source it themselves. On the smartphone side, entry-level devices might drop from 6 or 8GB down to just 4, while mid-tier phones could be capped at 6 or 8 instead of 12. IDC projects this shortage will last until 2027, with some estimates extending to 2028. So what's causing this? It's actually the AI boom. Chip makers like Samsung and SK Hynix are shifting their production capacity to high bandwidth memory, or HBM, for AI data centers because it fetches much higher prices than standard DRAM. Both companies have already sold out their 2026 memory supply. The costs are doubling across the board. For example, the 12GB chip in Apple's iPhone 17 Pro went from around $25 to $29 early this year to about $70 now. Apple's supply contracts end in January, which could mean even higher prices or more expensive iPhones. IDC predicts PC prices will rise 8% in 2026, and the average smartphone price will hit $465. For manufacturers, it's a lose-lose situation. Either cut specs and risk customer dissatisfaction, or raise prices and potentially hurt sales. Meanwhile, the memory suppliers are benefiting enormously from AI-driven HBM demand from companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, and Alphabet. Let's wrap up with some insights from the people shaping AI's future. A journalist spent this past year interviewing and listening to over 50 tech leaders at conferences, on podcasts, and in direct conversations. The 4 lessons that emerged are worth paying attention to. First, if you want to keep your job, embrace AI now. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang put it bluntly at the Milken Institute: every job will change immediately, and you won't lose your job to AI, you'll lose it to someone who uses it. Stanford's Fei Li says she won't even hire engineers who are averse to AI, and that goes beyond tech roles. Accountants and other professionals are already adopting tools like vibe coding. Second, soft skills are becoming more valuable, not less. Salesforce's Peter Schwartz emphasizes empathy and collaboration over pure coding ability. LinkedIn's data shows that in leaner, AI-augmented teams, communication skills are absolutely critical. Third, the pace of advancement toward AGI and superintelligence is accelerating faster than most people realize. Sam Altman predicts superintelligence by 2030. Meta's Zuckerberg is investing billions in it, saying he'd rather overspend than miss out. Databricks' Ali Ghodsi claims AGI already exists, while DeepMind's Demis Hassabis sees it arriving in 5 to 10 years. The tools are evolving rapidly, with ChatGPT's features becoming normalized globally. And fourth, there's a growing emphasis on human-centered AI. Microsoft's Mustafa Suleyman is pushing for what he calls humanist superintelligence that preserves human agency. Anthropic's Dario Amodei warns about the risks of fully autonomous AI in threat scenarios, and Geoffrey Hinton urges us to ensure AI actually cares about humans, even as it becomes more intelligent than us. These aren't abstract concerns, they're the priorities of the people building these systems. What strikes me about today's stories is how they all connect. We're seeing regulation trying to catch up with AI capabilities, cybersecurity threats targeting critical infrastructure, hardware shortages driven by AI data center demand, and industry leaders urging us to stay human-centered even as the technology advances. These aren't separate trends, they're all part of the same transformation we're living through. The question isn't whether AI will change everything, it's whether we'll shape that change thoughtfully or just react to it. We'll keep following these developments as they unfold. Thank you for staying informed with DigiAll Tech News. We'll be back with more updates as they develop.